the county in 23. It's going really well, and it hasn't had an impact on our attendance at all. I have Tim with me. I think you had a couple things you wanted to
I did.
add. You told me
I
to
did.
throw it to you at the end.
I'm not used to talking to people behind my back, so I'm going to stand up here a little bit, Kim, if
That-
I give you a stiff neck, I
That's
apologize.
all right.
I got some notes that I'm terrible about following a script, so I know you all, so we'll just talk. How about that?
Sure, good with me.
Thank you for your work for Bourbon. Appreciate it. And 22 years ago, I became president of Harmony Marketing Group. I had a dream that we could become a world-class organization. But a dream alone doesn't facilitate the action. So with that dream, we had a vision and we had an action plan. And I can tell you today that we are achieving that goal. I can tell you that over 15% of our work is done for other printers who recognize what we bring to the table, what we can produce for them, and how we can do it efficiently. We have 60 plus employees that are skillful at what they do. With that vision, it takes an investment, and we have invested well over $10 million over the past 22 years to get to where we are today, with infrastructure, with equipment, with personnel, with the growth that you have to achieve to grab hold of your dreams. My dream for Bourbon is that this community can grow and be sustainable. And that's a challenge today for small communities. We know that. But I'm trying to encourage, challenge, and inspire this town council to create a coalition for the growth and sustainability of Bourbon. I don't know what that means, but I do believe it would probably include infrastructure, housing, business, childcare maybe. But I do know that without action, the dream will never be realized. It won't happen. It's only a step. It's only a beginning. In 2018, there was a publication that's on the Bourbon website. And it talks about envisioning Bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
And these are complimentary of Harmony. There's no charge for these. But I refer you to chapter 4 because it talks about the possibilities. It talks about the potential. It talks about the value of what we already have and how we can leverage that to the most optimum probable outcome. So I want to encourage the board today. I don't want Bourbon to become a byword of another small community that is here today and not tomorrow. So I thank each of you for your work, and I challenge us for the time ahead to be able to embrace and achieve in the future what we all desire. Thank you.
I didn't say before I handed it off to Tim, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I failed to mention, one of the things I think that is going to be very attractive for this industrial site and perhaps phase 2 of it, manufacturing center, is the 331 and 30 intersection, that it's already above grade. I'm on the US 30 Coalition, the PELP study and the talk at Indianapolis and LaPorte of turning that into a freeway, which would benefit this entire corridor. But in my time here, we've landed 2 projects who said their number one reason for their site selection was the intersection of 31 and 30. And it's a little bit of a hassle on 30 today, but And it's probably gonna get worse before it gets better, but that's where you're already in the best position, that you have an above grade interchange that is incredibly attractive for semi-tractor trailer traffic.
Very much so.
Hmm?
Very much so.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Any questions for Laura and
I do not.
Bill and Tim?
I just want to say, Tim, I appreciate you. I know you spent a lot of hours and going to those meetings, represent Bourbon, and I just want to acknowledge that.
Well, Tim, your comments about growth and not being a dried up little town is definitely something that I don't want to see either. I know that the comprehensive plan was put together some years prior to me coming on. Les was there, and Terry, I think you were even part of that, and Kim, and we have. Our plan commission continues to work with the comprehensive plan every month when they meet, working towards the goals that are in there, and a lot of those goals have been achieved. I'm happy to say, I think when you look at a plan like that, you grab the low-hanging fruit first, right? So you can show the community progress, because the big picture is 10, 15, 20 years down the road, yeah.
Exactly.
And I get that. So we've been grabbing a lot of that low-hanging fruit to try to check those off the list. So I appreciate your comments, and I echo your concerns and your thoughts as well. So thank you. Anything else for Laura or anyone? No?
No.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it
Yes.
very much. Adam,
Hey everyone,
hi.
I'm here to talk about amendment number 2 to the water treatment plant design contract. I believe Kim's routed copies to everybody.
Yep.
Great. So the amendment consists of 2 pieces. One is a change in technical scope, and the other is a change in funding pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
First, change in the technical scope. The original
You see it?
scope of our contract was to replace pump and motor
Yep.
exactly in time.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one note on the drawing that said, do this
Yeah.
thing. And then since then, we've changed direction based on what Steve and Caroline would like to see. And that
Mhm.
is the best direction for the town,
Yeah.
to bring the pump and motor above grade.
Okay.
So all your paperwork changes from one note to a couple plan sheets and just more in-depth
Okay.
design work. It
Okay.
also includes changing out all the piping in that well house just to plumb it back up.
Yep.
So that's the first piece of the amendment. And the second piece is additional time to pursue the Okra.
Right.
With the Okra grant, there'll be at least 3 occasions that Wesley will need to be present in town. There
Yep.
need to be 2 more public hearings and then also an Okra site visit.
Yep.
Plus,
Okay.
there's a few hours in there to coordinate with Shannon, and we'll put together those proposals and applications for Okra.
Okay.
That's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to cover them for you.
Questions for Adam on the water plant?
Nope, it's going forward.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I think a quick update, we'll be ready to submit our IDEM construction permit,
Okay.
if not not this month yet.
Okay.
So that keeps us on schedule with pursuing Okra and SRF early next year.
Great. And Laura, that goes to building a brand new water plant in Bourbon to carry us well into the future for any industrial or residential growth, so.
Great. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks. Is there a motion to accept amendment number 2 as presented by Wessler?
I'll make a motion to accept amendment number 2.
I second that.
A motion and a second to accept the amendment number 2. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ordinance 2022-2 on first reading is an amendment to, it's an ordinance that would increase fees for rental of the Matchett Event Center located at 805 North Harris Street. I'll entertain a motion to open the floor to public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the floor.
I second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone wishing to speak for or against or regards to the proposed ordinance to increase the fees at the Matchett Center. So just to give some background, the fees are being raised nominally. The town sees an average loss of around $11,000 a year towards the rental costs against the cost of operating the facility. Granted, we understand, there's no intentions of obviously making a profit, but we would like to at least get a little bit closer to breaking even so we're not losing so much dollars in its operation. The fees for the rental, I'll just go over it, is $300. Out-of-town residents would be $400. Wedding receptions would be $1,000. Triton graduation parties, well, there's always been a break given there. That would increase by $50 to $150. Anyone wishing to set up the night before and hasn't rented it for that day, it would be $50. And then there's the refundable security deposit of $200, which remains the same. Is there anyone having anything they wish to say in regards to that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the floor.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
Motion is second to close the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This will be advertised and be available for second and third reading at our October meetings. Did you get
Yes.
that today?
I thought I handed it to you, but
No.
I didn't hear
This
it.
is a memorandum of understanding between Real Services and the town of Bourbon for the use of the Matchett Center. I think there maybe was one years and years ago, but it hasn't been updated in some time. I think Alex helped me put this together. Alex put it together. Real Services their board of directors has reviewed and signed the memorandum of understanding. I will pass that along and let you guys look that over. I know it's the first time you've seen it because we just got it this afternoon, so if there's a desire to table it, that would be fine, to give both of you an opportunity to review it in more detail.
I would make a motion to table it, because I haven't seen it.
Same.
Motion and a second to table the agreement to allow for review. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can we get another copies of these? So
Mhm.
I'll send them to you. They
Yeah.
have been sent to you guys' email,
I couldn't print it.
Oh, okay.
but I will send them to you again. Or I'll copy them, whichever
Okay,
you would
yeah, I
prefer.
couldn't print it off.
Kim, floor is yours.
I need approval of claims 4657 to 4750, $334,868.23.
Make a motion to approve those claims totaling that amount.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the claims as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Macy Houghton is my new deputy clerk. She started on the 6th of September and is doing great. And her salary starts out at $15.50 an hour per the current salary ordinance. I sent out the trash and recycling proposals last week to 6 different companies. The bids on that will be due on October the 7th. We'll open the bids proposals. Indiana changed a lot of those rules, so they call them proposals now instead of bids, but those will be opened at the October meeting. I have had a few of them question the recycling because it's listed in the recycling just like we currently have, where it's every other week recycling pickup. Evidently, the cost to recycling and the money that they generate from recyclable products just must continue to go down and down. I did have a couple that was wondering if we decided to possibly not go door-to-door recycling, if that would be something that we would be interested in putting in the little recycling center type things like we used to have at one point. But that's only just been a couple of them. Several of the companies do not currently do recycling. So that might be something that we might have to look into, or the price of recycling is probably is going to go quite high on, in our
Mm.
in our trash bids moving forward. So yeah, those have been to 6 different companies at the moment. Another one reached out to me today and I sent them the information, so we'll be moving forward on that. Our contract does end December 31st of 2022.
My concerns with that recycling, just, you know, people dump trash in them, you know,
If you have the containers, you mean, like
Yeah.
a center,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, we have a lot of issues right now with our recycling because people put things in the recycling toters that do not belong. And then the whole load basically is contaminated and goes to the landfill anyway. So that might be something that you will have to address. I know just with a lot of the people who's been very unhappy with our service here the last couple months. I mean, basically they tell me that they just put their trash in the recycling bins because their trash is not getting picked up on a weekly basis. So most of that recycling is probably all going to the landfill anyhow, the way it looks, so.
And there's a lot of that stuff that people think is recycling that
And
isn't, pizza
it's
boxes.
not, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, people actually dump trash, like over in Plymouth, they have those, and,
Mm.
I mean.
oh,
it's
in the recycling
Yeah.
centers,
you know,
I'm sure of that too.
They dump chairs and recliners, and we end up, I mean, so I'd prefer to just keep the containers.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll just be, I mean, we'll see what the proposals say when we get them. And then, you know, that will be up to you guys to award that to whatever company.
Okay.
Our budget adoption will be Tuesday, September 27th at 6 p.m. here in the council room. And
September when?
September 27th, I will send you a reminder. And then trick or treat will be on Halloween evening, which is a Monday this year from 5 to 7.
Great. Thanks, Kim.
Awesome costume you have, Terry.
Yeah.
Huh?
Your costume.
Oh, you can't wait to see it.
You have it on now, right?
No, I took my mask off.
Oh.
I'm watching
Chief
my-
Martin, welcome back. Good to have you back with us.
Alan and the council for your support.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yep.
Other than my monthly report, I have a plaque that the pastor of Methodist Church presented to us
Oh, very nice.
as a recognition for September 11th.
Wow, okay. Very nice.
Highly appreciate it.
Yeah. Good.
We did that to EMS and fire.
Very nice. Roger.
Yeah, the activity report is, at the dump out there, we've got people working outside the gate. Just open for suggestions of what to do, get with the police department on stuff, or what do we, and, you know, if the gate's closed after hours, they've been dumping stuff outside the gate. I got pictures if you wanna see some pictures.
Like yard waste?
And other stuff.
Okay.
Like what's other stuff?
Limestone, brush,
Hmm. Okay. I guess I would suggest get with Bill and see if there's anything you guys could work together on
okay.
in the beginning, and then we'll go from there.
As far as that, I think, like when the town, the gate is closed,
Uh-huh.
people have always dumped out there. Probably gonna have to put some type of sign, no dumping, and we have after that's posted, we have trail cams and.
Yeah, if you'd put those up, that'd be good, and then we can just kinda go from there. See if that doesn't address it.
At least it's not a horse.
That's true. Yeah, and, Ryan's here from JPR. Ryan, do you have anything for
I do not know. We're still waiting on EMB to have the pay app go through, and then we'll do a substantial push meeting for that. So at this time, I have nothing to add to tonight's meeting.
All right, thanks.
one other thing, leaves are gonna be starting here about mid-October. I'll get a date soon.
Okay,
We'll have it put on the signs.
sure,
That's all I got.
great.
Didn't snow.
Then snow.
Oh, that's a four-letter
Huh?
word.
Snow. Snow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Give me a
all I
truck.
got.
Give me a truck. Hang on. Chuck?
I just wanted to jump in with what Kim was talking about earlier with Macy.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see her firsthand and
Mm-hmm.
to hear and listen to what she said, plus being able to call in. She's exceptional. You have a
Oh,
very
good.
good person there, very good phone presence, and I've heard her answer questions and come up with solutions that are beyond her time here. So I just
Hmm.
wanted to say you did
Good.
very
Well,
well.
good job, Kim. Nice
Thanks.
picking.
Good training.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure I'm gonna take credit for all that.
There you go. Also, our planning commission meeting last night, well, there's a couple things. We are not having very good attendance with our planning commission people. We used to have 9 people on the board. How many showed up last night?
3 of us, 3 of you.
Okay.
3. And that's just not good enough.
Do you think it's gonna improve since summer's winding down though?
No.
Okay.
Optimistically, I could say yes, but realistically, probably not. You have to have a heart for what you're doing. There's gotta be a passion, there's gotta be something there to make you want to do that. And if you're just taking it because it's an assignment, or just coming because nobody else would, chances are you're not gonna attend very well or do a very good job for the.
Is there any way that the president could call and see these people and see what the reasoning was and try to encourage them to start attending?
That's a possibility. I mean, we're open to everything, we're gonna be trying everything, I'm just letting you know
Okay.
it's the situation so that you,
All
are
right.
aware of. One of the things that we talked about last night is the downtown and, some things that, we're seeing deteriorating a little bit as far as building code wise goes. So, what we're gonna do for the next 2 weeks is just kind of walk the streets, make a list, try to talk to the storefront owners and see what they can do. And then with your permission and encouragement, we would like to send a letter out just talking about sprucing up and making downtown the place to go.
Journey's Inn looks really good.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
So I'd like to acknowledge them,
Okay?
all the work they've done.
So that's kind of what our plan is right there. Laura, since you're here, Slave Law Manufacturing, we rezoned their property and they combined it. They're looking at expanding. So if there's anything that you can do, stop in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lonnie Slave Law, and they're right there, 12th Road and 30. So if you would do that, they got a facility on both sides, but if you stop in and ask for Lonnie. So they're planning on expanding, and I don't know if there's anything that you can do to help them. but-
Are they going to go to the north
Yeah.
from their existing building? Is that
North
what?
and east.
Okay.
And east, yes.
Nice.
North and
East.
east.
Okay. Nice.
So that's what they're gonna do. The last thing is, you know, we've been checking up on the properties that we've talked about in the past as far as cleaning up and making better and helping to encourage people, and that's coming along pretty well. Chef has been doing a tremendous job out there.
I've noticed that.
They keep hauling that out. We want to get that down, I think I told you before, but where it's less than 100 ton
Mm-hmm.
after we're all cleaned up from one time.
Good.
So they've got the other building all uncovered and they're looking, they said to rent that one out
Oh, nice.
to somebody else for a business, but, I take pictures every week so we can document how it's going and what they're doing.
Okay.
I think that's all I've got right now.
All right. Roger, have we had to go back out and jet that sewer? Is that still okay?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
Nope.
So that's all resolved?
That's
Yes.
Good.
Mhm.
Very
We-
nice.
And we just met with them last week. Yeah, all their changes. Honestly, I think that they were putting things in the sanitary sewer that they were not supposed to, and
sure.
Alex had reached out to him. I think that made a big difference, and
Great. Good.
knock on wood, we've not had any issues with that lately, so.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Chuck. Chad?
Since the last meeting, we had 5 calls. We received a plaque as well. We were thankful for that. Other than that, I got one firefighter that is almost done with his fire 2 class, and then he'll be ready to test out.
Good. Very nice.
That's all I really have.
Okay, Alex?
The only update I have is on August 29th, Chuck and I did go to Karen Homes, all 3 properties, which they are all now in compliance.
Okay.
The only outstanding issue from the agreement is that she does have the outstanding water bill.
Okay.
I don't really think that's by itself a basis for an abatement, but, you know, it is due knowing of the town, and I'm not sure what the town wants to do to pursue that. But under the agreement, she's already agreed she owes it, so that'd be the only outstanding issue from
How
it.
much is owed?
I can't remember what I
I
told
think
you.
you told me it's a little over $2,000.
Yeah.
She indicate that she was gonna pay that, or how she was gonna pay it?
At the time, she wanted to discuss it with her attorney, and I've not heard from him again. I did forward the ledger that Kim provided me to him, and I have not heard back.
Is there any possibility to any type of
A lien?
filing with the court on the breach of the agreement based upon the amount owed and try to force her hand to pay that?
Yeah, I mean, it would be basically a small claim action.
Right, correct.
Yeah, I mean, so yes, we could do that. I'd probably reach out to her attorney once more, and if he doesn't respond, then probably we could do that.
Okay.
And I haven't filed liens against that property only because we had this contract,
Mhm.
and on her other properties, she had paid them up. It's just this one property that she's
Which
still
one is it? Do
holding out on.
we know?
It's this one, isn't it?
Back here?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think is it 206?
Yeah,
Okay.
206 North
Or Washington.
Washington, I believe, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see you move forward with the small claims
Yeah.
if she doesn't get it paid.
Okay.
Been long
Um,
enough with her.
Yeah, and I guess if you could reach out to her attorney, and if nothing is paid by, I would say October 1st, move forward with the small claims.
Okay.
Do you need a motion for that, Kim? I think it's just following through with the agreement.
No, the
that we
agreement's already
have.
been signed,
Okay.
so it's.
That's what I'd like to see,
Yeah.
guys. I'll leave it.
Yeah, I'm, we,
I'm good with it.
Okay.
She's had plenty of time.
And we're still doing the 90-day continuance?
Yes, on Jackson and Conklin.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Okay.
their new deadline is in November.
okay.
The
Okay.
Congo property is getting ready to go up for tax sale. So I don't know what that will do.
At the leaning house?
Well,
The one on Quad.
Yeah,
was that
we
the
bumped it
base?
for 90 days before, so
okay.
you know.
And I
Yes.
think it's in October, only just because I had a gentleman come in today asking about that property, and he's the one that told me it was going to tax sale, and I looked it up, and it is next
Okay.
month.
Those are both set in November 18th
Okay.
for a review with Judge Palmer.
Well, I guess
court.
you'll just guys will take it from there.
Mhm.
Figure it out. Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Any questions for Alex? Anything?
I have none.
No. Patrons' comments? Anyone from the public wish to speak? Yes, ma'am.
This is open to the whole town, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
But, I just wanted to make a comment. We live on Thayer Street when these came, and they had dug up the yard to put the driveway, or not the driveway, the sidewalk in.
Okay,
The E&D paving,
uh-huh,
those guys were fantastic.
okay.
I know everybody comes and they bitch about stuff, but I just want to say they did a great job.
Well, thank you.
However,
Yes?
I was out of town,
Mhm.
and thankfully my husband was home. I had to be out of town, and I didn't even know, do they not publish that they're gonna be putting sidewalk in, and we didn't know anything about it?
It does get published in the news. It is from our meetings. And that's basically the means by which it gets published, from the public meetings.
Okay, so they didn't tear anything out. I just wonder if they're gonna put a sidewalk in the front of the house,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to cut trees down, they don't let people know that? I was just curious.
Yeah, the neighbors there, we let them know we're taking those trees out, that we're taking out there.
No, I wanna know if they put a sidewalk in front of our house, how do they do that? I mean,
Would you like me to answer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just say, Ryan, that's
Yeah,
probably
Ryan.
better
Yeah,
for
thank you.
Yeah.
So this was a grant project from the state, in which the state paid 75% of the total amount of the project. So we got that money about a year ago. And so we have those plans right behind you on file. Those are for public viewing and public showing. So any project that we're doing within the town, they'll be available through Kim if you ask her, yeah. So, as part of, the procedures, we keep a copy of the contract on file for public viewing, as well as the plans behind you. So, at any time, you can come in and view those for any project, or call Kim and she can, talk to me and I can relay to her where we are in the phase for projects that are upcoming.
okay, will they let us know at town meetings also if we come to those, if we're gonna be doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all part of the community crossings grants that the state implemented here several years ago. And then here several years back, they allowed that if you were repaving a portion of the street, if the sidewalks in that area are not in good shape, then that can be a part of the project also. So we have chosen to do that the last several years because a lot of our sidewalks in town are not in the best of shape. And especially in that area where the kids are walking to and from school, that's also another one of them that we are working on, kind of more of a safe routes to school to encourage kids to walk. And so that is why a lot of the sidewalks in that area has been being done. The problem of it is with some of the big trees, and I didn't catch what your actual address was.
It's on Thayer Street.
On Thayer?
Liberty.
There in Liberty, okay. A lot of the big trees there happen to be right in the right of way there. And so if those are areas where the sidewalks are getting put into, a lot of times those have to come out because of that. But in most cases, I mean, we try to work with the homeowners there, letting them know that that is gonna be happening. So we just applied for our next round of community crossings grants. We have not been awarded yet. They haven't awarded the bids. Once that is the case, then we'll be working with Ryan again, and then the plans and things will be here. At that point, the council has to accept that, if we're going to move forward on that. So it will be at a public meeting again on that. Doesn't have to be a public hearing because it's a grant through the state, but it will go through a public hearing.
Yeah, like I said, they did a great job. I mean, it's beautiful what they did. They dug our bushes up and stuff, and the guy was really nice. He moved it over.
I believe you and I spoke.
Yeah.
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 Oh, was it you?
Yeah, I was out taking a walk and we just had a chat, yeah.
Yeah, I know that they moved it over,
Mhm.
they worked with us, we got a new approach out of it, I mean,
Yeah.
it was great. I
Are
mean,
those guys from Rochester? Do you know?
Yeah,
those
they're
guys?
out of
Yeah, they are out of
I
Rochester.
felt really bad for them because people were driving by and saying horrible things. Those guys were just doing their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nate,
Actually,
he was great.
Nate lives in
Yeah.
Atwood, or Inwood, actually, he lives
Yeah.
over in that area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
he was-
I mean, I would hire them again. The guys were very nice.
Yeah.
And we've worked with them several times. You know, we were hoping to have it done and completed before school started. Unfortunately, with construction companies,
They did.
it didn't happen. School started, and so we had some traffic issues.
Yeah.
We got it worked out.
you know, it is what it is, but, you know, the great thing for our town with the community crossings grants is like Ryan said, it's a 75-25 match. We pay 25%, and in the last 8 to 10 years, we've gotten so many roads repaved that would have taken us
Yeah.
50, 60 years to be able to do it as a town. So it's just a great benefit to us, and I know it is an inconvenience sometimes to our citizens, but it all works out in the long run as a great improvement.
Luckily, I mean, obviously, it would have been nice to have a mail notification, and luckily, we had emergencies that came up that it happened right during the garage sale times, right? So.
It did, yeah, it was
Luckily, we didn't have
the
one.
Summerfest
We were going
weekend
to.
and all that, yeah.
We were going to have a garage sale, and luckily we didn't, because it wouldn't have not worked out well, but.
Well, next year, on the other side of Liberty, the sidewalk will be replaced to the school under a separate Safe Routes to School grant. So sometime next summer, you'll see that sidewalk being completely replaced and widened all the way up to Triton Drive.
Well, it's really a wonderful town. Sorry to take more than 5
Nope,
minutes,
it's
but
quite all right.
We're so I'm really happy to be here, and I've dealt with you before on the phone. Kevin's
Yes.
been really sweet. So.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, wonderful. Thank you. Any other patrons? Yes, sir.
I've been talking to Chuck DeWitt
Yeah?
about vacating a piece of land
Okay.
on the end of, what is it?
Harris
Bob?
Street, 1106 North Harris Street.
North Harris. And the trees need trimmed. Now, there's a fence row there that divides us and the town from Jason Lenmer. And that's all growed up, and the
Aren't you
groundhogs are
retired?
taking advantage of it.
Aren't you retired? Can't you do that for us? You're retired.
I work pretty cheap. But we will have to rent a lift if it goes 60 foot in the air. And there is one limb that's looking at Chief Martin's fence. If you drop it just right, you
Well.
can smash his fence.
There you go.
Now, what I want to do is, can we work something out with the town? And what do we do with that wood after we cut it down? We're gonna have some big logs in there. I mean,
I don't know.
So
Hot dog roast?
whose trees are they?
pardon?
Whose trees are they? Are they on the right of way?
I'd say they would
Proposed
be,
right away there.
they would be yours and Jason Limmer's.
Is it that
It's that tree line along.
tree line that runs to the?
North,
It runs
east,
east
west.
and west.
Yeah.
It depends on where the proposed right of way lays in there. If you look on,
Okay.
and we'll use Beacon as an example.
Yeah.
You need to go this way. Okay. If you look on Beacon and blow it up, the trees are actually on Jason Lemler's.
Okay.
If you use Beacon.
Okay.
Now, where he's talking the fences, that's a different story. That could be where it was surveyed many years ago, so.
Okay.
It would have to be looked at.
All right.
The fence used to come right down through the center of the trees. It grew into the trees.
Okay.
I've been kind of mowing it back and trimming it back to where it's all on the levelers now.
Okay.
But just have to look at it,
Okay.
so.
So how about if Roger and I go take a look at it,
That'd be
determine,
fine.
and we'll see.
And I'd like to be there when they're
Oh,
looking at it.
we'll have to determine,
Yeah,
you know, who's legally, if it's a right of way, who they belong to, and then it all can kind of go from there.
okay.
You're
Yep.
looking at having it deeded over to the,
I was wondering if that piece of property then that belongs to town, if we have to take care of it, could it be deeded to Bob?
There's a,
You talking about
There's
the
a
street?
storm
no,
drain.
there's,
It can't be.
yeah, there's all kinds of water lines and stuff that go down that.
That's not gonna be possible.
It can't be vacated.
Oh, on Harris.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
No,
we
it,
can't
well, it
vacate
runs,
that.
Runs
It
down
runs
to
that
the
way.
old there. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
I don't think it could be vacated because of the
Bob's
water
lived
lines
there
and
40
stuff.
years, hasn't he, Bob?
Yeah.
And there's never been anything dug up along there. The street comes down through there.
He's talking about between Thayer and Harris.
Uh huh. Okay.
in
But
the
there's,
field part of it to the north of your house?
Okay, so,
Yeah, oh, see, there's a center line, Bill's fence is
Mhm.
just about right on that center line of that.
And the right of way is probably.
what's the street name?
It'd be Patricia
Harris.
Street.
Patricia.
Harrison.
But it doesn't go all the way through.
No, it stops.
There are gas lines and water
Mhm.
lines and a big sewer line that runs out to 30 and
Mm-hmm.
everything right there on Harris.
Well,
It goes back behind you guys too, over to the next road, what's
Because
it?
that was looped around several
Yeah.
years ago.
That's
Yeah.
during that lawsuit that we had when they were gonna develop it.
oh, with Plummer?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they put, part of the town's agreement was that we had to put storm drains in there, and there's storm drains that runs all the way through it to the next road,
Okay.
all up
Yeah,
in
the
there.
Storm drains run all the way to US 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They start angling
Yep.
after
Yeah.
they got it out in,
And the angle across the field.
and then they go, what is that? Northeast?
Yes,
Off the road 30
correct. They do.
to
so
my
what,
son's property.
Oh, okay. Well, let Roger and I take a look at
Okay.
the property lines for the trees.
Wish you would.
We will. As far as any annexation, that starts in, or not annexation,
Vacation.
vacation. Yeah.
that can't,
Yeah, so if there's utilities under there, we wouldn't be willing to do
Well,
that,
there's-
so.
There hadn't been any utilities put through there in 40 years.
Well, if they're still there, we can't, so, because, we've got them there. But anyway, let us look at the trees.
Okay.
And we'll nibble off one thing at a time. How about
All
that?
right,
All right, perfect.
at least we got started.
You betcha. So Roger and I we'll be in touch and we'll take a look at things.
I can bring a ladder down to you.
Pardon?
I'll bring a ladder down to you.
You got a chainsaw?
I do.
Yeah,
Will it reach 60 foot in the air?
I'll
That's
hold
where
it.
we have to start.
I don't want you cutting down a limb aiming towards my kids.
Pardon?
I don't want Les cutting down a limb aiming towards my kids.
It's just a fence, Bill. Just a fence.
Is
You ever
it,
getting a lift 60 foot in the air and run over a 2-inch 2x4?
is there any other public comment this evening? If not, council?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
There was no council member comments,
I
were there?
guess I'm really not. No.
They didn't want to say nothing because they're in vacation mode, ready to roll.
Oh, my.